What's up, everybody? Today's another Daily 48 Cold Plunge. So today's law is use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. So be selective with your honesty, being tell people certain things but not everything. And then use generosity to disarm your victim, right? So you do something good to make people think, oh shit, maybe he's not a bad guy. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, we're going to jump into our 39-degree cold plunge today. It's going to be a little bit on the chilly side. So here we go. The selective honesty thing, that comes pretty natural to me. And I know this may sound shady, but I get accused of it a lot, but it's true. I will not always tell everybody everything, right? I will obviously keep some things withheld to generate a story that is 100% true, but maybe just doesn't have all the facts, but it gets me what I want. Okay, now let's get into our 3-minute cold plunge. Woo! Yep. So, selective honesty, this is something I think that I get probably accused of the most, and it's true, because I don't like lying, but at the same time, like, man, it's like if you tell the whole truth all the time, it can get you in trouble. It'll make people not want to buy your product. It'll make clients leave. So you can't really say oh man, is the project going to be on time? It's like, totally. Like, I'm not saying, okay, it's like, how about this? Is the project going to be done on time? Right now, we are currently on track to get everything done on time. We haven't missed any major deadlines, and everything that we have working is working pretty good so far. So I think we're fine. Everything is true. Now, did a production server just crash or something? Possibly. They just don't know. Great. But yeah, selective honesty is important because you kind of got to control the narrative, right? That's the most important part, is that you need to control the story that people know to make sure you get the outcome that you want. Now, like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to start lying to people and tell them the truth, but you don't have to tell them everything. It's like, that's the age-old adage, right? Like when you're like, does this dress make me look fat? It's like, baby, you look beautiful. You do look beautiful. Does the dress make you look fat too? Yes. Do you say that? No. Why? Because you probably want to get laid later. And that's mean. Because you don't want to tell her, you don't want to make her feel bad, right? So selective honesty isn't always a bad thing. Now, let's talk about generosity to disarm your opponents or your enemies or whatever. So this happens a lot, and I use it regularly too. So if I have people that do not like me for whatever reason, whether, I don't know, I'm a pretty likable person, and most people like me, but every once in a while you get that one guy that just has a fucking heart on for you and just wants to make your life miserable for whatever reason. Anyway, those people, generally what they'll try to do is they'll try to throw you under the bus all the time and try to paint you in a picture that makes you look like a bad person, or you don't know what you're doing, or, you're just a general overall fuck up. So if you can be nice to that person, it throws everyone off guard, right? So, like, let's say as an example, and this has just recently happened too, there's this guy, this one developer that I've been working with that, no idea why, but he just has it in for me, just like, every day, he just wants to point out how much I suck, which is bizarre because he's wrong all the time, and there's no real basis. I mean, me and a couple of people that are all on the same page here were like, we have no idea why this dude is so pissed off at me all the time. Like, all the time. So, what do? Publicly. In front of everyone, in front of our meetings, everything. Like, hey, this dude's name is Matt. I'm like, Matt's been a super helpful person. He's really going above and beyond. His code's amazing, blah, blah, blah. Basically, I give this dude praise, and I talk about how awesome he is, and then even then, I'll be like, hey, you know what else? And here's some other things that maybe can help his stuff out even better. Whatever I can do to help the team, that's what I'm all about. And I was like, whoa. Like, everyone knows this dude hates me, but yet I'm still praising this guy and making him sound like, oh, he's such a great person. So what does that do? That just makes him look like an evil dick, and I look like some, like, unsuspecting, oh no, like, I'm just being taken advantage of. Hey, it works. You know what? I'm done. 3.5 minutes. I don't care. We're not doing 5 minutes today. We're not doing it. It's the weekend. I can do what I want. So yeah. Another good thing to do, which I've done before, I do this a lot. So whenever I start a new project, right, the first thing I like to do is befriend whoever my quote-unquote boss is, right? Like whoever the person is that controls my fate, that's the person I want to be on my side as much as possible. So what I'll do is when we start a project, I'll learn a little bit about them, whatever, and then when I find out what their vices are, what their interests are, or where their passions are, or maybe there's something missing in their life that they're trying to figure out, I'll figure out something that aligns with that, and then I'll buy them something and send it to them. So this does a couple things. One, hey, this dude's a nice guy. Look, he just bought me a gift. How cool. And it's not like, oh, look, here's a coffee mug, or here's, like a gift card or something stupid. It's like, no, this is something thoughtful. You're listening to me. It shows something that you care about, what the problems are that I'm going through, my interests or whatever. So it's like, wow, you're a thoughtful person. All of a sudden, their guard drops way down, and they're like, whoa, this dude is all about me. That's amazing. No one's ever done this before. So I get put into that light right away. Now, also, you got the whole Hare Krishna effect, right? So Hare Krishnas are famous for this, where they walk around, they give you the little fucking flowers, and then after they give you the little flower, they ask for a donation. So human beings have an innate kind of hardwiring to where if you are given something, you feel this need to give something back in return. So if you can give something to somebody that you will eventually want something for, that's gold. Because you're going to have that quote-unquote like favor in the back of their brain, like, man, this guy's got this thing for me, or this guy did this thing for me. I need to pay him back somehow. Because no one likes to have that favor kind of held over their head. So this also establishes that. So one, wow, this dude's a good guy. He listens to me. He really thinks we're on the same page. This dude's team me. Also, fuck, now I owe this dude a favor. So if I ever like, hey man, I really need something, like, it's okay. I got that first slip up or whatever. I got that kind of covered too. So generosity, especially if you can just make it random, out of the blue, not like, oh, it's their birthday, or oh, it's Valentine's Day, or whatever. Just make it random. Now again, this doesn't mean you're a bad person if you do this, right? Like, think about it. Just, yes, there may be some weird underlying intentions, but in the end, you're doing something good for somebody. You're helping somebody out. You're giving them something that they want that's cool. You're befriending them and making them an ally, right? So where is the bad part about this? Yes, it's manipulative, but in my mind, it's manipulative in a good way. Now we're friends. We're going to work better together. We're going to have a much more open line of communication. So it's one of those things where you got to remember, just because something is bad, it's not bad, but like just because people feel it's bad doesn't mean it is. One way that I like to think about this, I know this is going on, so I'm really sorry, but selfish. I think the word selfish has such a negative connotation to it, and it shouldn't, because everybody is selfish. Every single thing that someone does is for a selfish need, no matter what it is. So people are like, oh, you're selfish, like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. What you do what the actions that you take determine how selfish you are if it affects other people in a negative light. So is it selfish to donate to charity? Probably not, right? Most people are like, well, that's not even selfish. That's selfless. No, it's not. People are donating to charity to make themselves feel good. That warm, fuzzy feeling that they get inside, or when they run around and like, oh, look, I donated to this thing, or I gave blood, they got their little pin, or whatever it is. Whenever they do something charitable for someone else or whatever, they like to wear that badge to show, look how good I am. Look how cool and nice of a person I am. I am a good person. Did they do anything wrong? Absolutely not. Did they do good things? Yes, they sure did. And why? Because it gives them that warm, fuzzy feeling inside. That's selfishness. You're doing it because you want to feel good about yourself. Is it wrong? Absolutely not. So selfishness isn't necessarily a bad thing. It determines the light of the action that you're doing and if it's towards other people or not. So one thing I really like to think about is when people think there's a negative connotation to stuff, I like to try to flip it on its end and think, hey, maybe there's another angle at this. And all these laws, like I've said it before, have that same effect. So just because it may sound bad, like, oh, you're not really telling everyone all the truth. So what? We're all going to have the best possible outcome. It's like, oh, well, you're manipulating someone by buying them gifts so that they like you. Yeah, that's why you buy people gifts, so that they like you. So it's like, it's not necessarily bad. It can be a win-win situation. So if you can act to where it's a win-win, I think that's when you're going to be the most successful. So with that, I gotta go get dried up.